Good afternoon, fellow tankers. I'm Commander Denalii. Today we're taking a look at the Edelweiss. The Edelweiss is a Tier 8 Japanese premium tank that came out at the same time as the Nameless. These things are still in store, both the Edelweiss and the Nameless. So yeah, if you feel that you want these tanks, you can either pick them up in a package or separately with lower packages. I would definitely suggest the Nameless. I've been having troubles with this tank. I'm just not great with it, but it is a very good tank. I mean, look at this thing. It's just a bunch of metal just taped to each other and held with leather. Anyway, let's get into the stats. The engine in this tank has 800 horsepower. It has a power-to-weight ratio of just over 25 horsepower per ton, and this tank is fast. It can go 60 kilometers per hour forward and 20 in reverse, and it doesn't have a problem getting up to those speeds as well. If you're shot in the engine, you do have a 10% chance of getting caught on fire, so I would say, you know, get a firefighting crew in this thing. This has an 88mm gun with a base reload of 7.5 seconds, a base aiming time of 2.3 seconds, and the accuracy, of course being a Japanese tank, is 0.38. This thing has 15 degrees of gun elevation and 8 degrees of gun depression. The rotation speed of the hull is 42 degrees per second, and the terrain resistances, which are phenomenal on this, are 0.6 for hard ground, 0.8 for medium ground, and 1.5 for soft ground. So getting around the battlefield is no problem in this tank at all. The base view range of this tank is 390 meters, and the turret can rotate at 38 degrees per second. So, you know, this is one of those tanks where you can circle a target pretty well, except, you know, it doesn't turn really fast. Anyway, the radio on this tank has a signal range of 750 meters, which is pretty stock for Tier 8. As far as the ammo goes, your standard round has a minimum penetration of 146, a maximum penetration of 244, minimum damage of 180, maximum damage of 300, which gives this a 240 average damage. The shell velocity of your standard round is 850 meters a second, and then when you switch over to your premium round, it's APCR round. Your penetration minimum is 184, your penetration maximum is 306, so you can even face off against some Tier 10s. Damage remains the same, but your shell velocity goes up by 200 additional meters per second. And as far as your HE rounds go, 33 to 55 millimeters of penetration. Upon a penetration, it'll do between 221 and 369 damage, with a very small splash radius of 1.4. And the shell velocity is about 850 meters a second. So yeah, I haven't used a whole lot of HE rounds. They just seem very underwhelming. Yeah, 5-person crew. And of course the armor on this, not great. 20 millimeters of armor right here in the back on that little square. You know, no big deal. It's the rear of a medium tank, so, you know, don't expect much else. Of course, somewhere between 21 and 30 is all these panels on the side, your belly plate, your gun, and a couple pieces of your turret, and the top of your hull. And that big bulbous thing above the gun is actually spaced armor, believe it or not. So 31 to 50 is, you know, your tracks and part of your gun manlet right there. And then pretty much the remainder of your armor for your gun manlet. The sides of your hull, once you get through the tracks, is between 51 and 70, and the rest of the rear of your hull as well. And the sides of your turret and your lower plate are somewhere between 71 and 90 millimeters of protection, and also your commander's hatch. And then 120 millimeters of protection for all of this area. So the rest of your gun manlet and your upper plate, which is curved and kind of weird. But don't expect to be able to sit out in front of people like in the Nameless and bounce rounds. This tank cannot do that. So alright, so as far as rounds go, I run 34 standard AP rounds on this. I run 20 premium APCR rounds and 6 high explosives. You know, just in case I might need them for, you know, a waffle or something like that. Run a small repair kit, a small first aid kit, and an automatic fire extinguisher. If you got a decent crew on this, you can trade that fire extinguisher out for food, of course. Of course, I'm running coated optics, tank gun rammer, and vertical stabilizers, because this tank is very nice to push around to the side of somebody, fire on the move, and, you know, hit them in the side, flank them, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty standard loadout. If you want, you can actually take the gun rammer and put vents on as well. Or you can do it with the vert stabs as well, whatever you choose. But I would get rid of the rammer before the vert stabs, once there's a good crew in this. Anyway, this thing, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just a bunch of metal strapped to each other, taped to each other, glued to each other. I mean, give me some rubber cement and we'll add another part to the tank. Anyway, first match here. Tier 9 match. It's a short match. It's only 7 versus 7, and it's on El Haluf, encounter battle. But, you know, we're going to go to the standard B2 area and, you know, see what we can do there. I do have binoculars, camouflage, and something else for this match, because I switched it afterwards. Yeah, I think it was vert stabs. So anyway, first things first, we're gonna push down the middle here, use the speed of this tank, get into a position, try to get some early spots. And of course, we spot the enemy light tank right away. And since we're highlighted, we don't want to poke up and get spotted and shot at. But there we go, we spot 2 more tanks over there. And I'm hoping these guys, yep, there we go, started getting some assisted damage there. And we'll try to poke one more time. Yep, there we go. Another enemy spotted. Some more assisted damage, it looks like. Nope, we're not getting the assisted damage for the T-32. So we're going to go ahead and pull around the corner here and see what we can do. Got a Tiger 2 up on the hill over there, so we don't want to pull out in front of him. But this T-32 just wants to drive out in front of me and let me farm him for some damage. And we'll go ahead and take that free damage and finish him off. So now we're going to focus on the Tiger 2, try for the side of the turret, and 250, which is nice. Got a lower plate as well. T-54 just took out our friendly medium, which means he's probably going to focus on us. So I'll put one into him really quick, and then we're going to use the mobility of this tank and try to stay behind him. Of course, since I'm auto-aiming here, I want to stay as close as possible. And yeah, I still managed to screw up a couple shots, which is no big deal, because this guy's very low health. And we get tracked, got to fix that. And we were going to try to finish him off, but our friendlies did, so next is the Tiger 2. And we get a really lucky shot there. I was actually aimed at his upper plate and it went lower, so, you know, that was really nice. But it looks like the remaining enemies are probably all in the A1 area. You know, it was pretty intense for me right there. But I'm going to go ahead and push around and, you know, hopefully find this artillery. The only thing over there that's spotted right now is the enemy light tank. There we go. Oh, and there we go. Found a Tiger 1. And I don't think he's got gun depression on me. So we can just finish him, no problem. And of course he tries to fire, but yeah, he did not have gun depression. So yeah, the only thing left now is the enemy artillery. So we're going to check all the standard locations. And, oh, there he is. Not in a standard location. I'm trying to get, nope, not going to be able to get a shot on him. Well, that's no big deal. So yeah, for a short match, I mean, this tank did, you know, fairly well. I went up, I spotted some targets, got some assisted damage, and then ended up doing some damage of our own. So at the end of that, we ended up having 9 penetrations for 1900 damage. You know, not a huge number or anything like that. We did detect 5 of the enemy, and they only had 7. and we assisted for 622. We made 50,000 silver, 7,200 experience, which is just crazy, I think, for a short match. But yeah, here's the team stats for anybody who wants to see all that. We pretty much rolled over them, and yeah. Now we're on Prokhorovka. This is one of my favorite maps to play on. Yeah, this is a tier 8 match. Yeah, enemy has an Edelweiss as well. Should be a pretty fun battle. And we still have the camo binos and I believe Verk stabs for this replay as well. I've been playing around with this tank trying to figure out, you know, what equipment goes best on this. Because I tried the standard gun rammer, optics, Verk stabs. You know, I've tried the binoculars, camo, Verk stabs. I even put a decent crew in this from my STB1 and did vents, food, you know, that whole nine. And yeah, I'm not great with this tank. So, tried to get up here to get some early spots, but the light tank pretty much spotted the entire enemy team. And of course, what are they going to do? They're going to focus on him, so we can get some free damage from these guys. You know, providing we got the gun depression. Enemy KV-2. I love shooting these things. It pisses people off when they get taken out early, because, you know, derp gun and, you know, hand stalling, blah blah blah. So yeah, just using the ridgeline here, trying to only expose a little bit of our turret, because that top part above the gun, which is really funky looking, is actually spaced armor. So I've actually bounced rounds from, you know, some tier 10 tanks. But there we go, starting to get some more damage there. And then, of course, nobody wants to look to our right, so I'm going to flex over to the right and face off with this Centennial, which is probably a huge mistake. But hit him in the track. Unfortunately, it did not track him or, you know, damage him. But yeah, being in this little gully here, ditch, whatever you want to call it, I mean, this is actually a pretty nice place for medium tanks to go. But yeah, as you see, I'm pretty much I'm struggling with this Centennial. By the way, that's an awesome tank. I have a review on that as well. There we go, we end up tracking him and doing some damage. Get some assisted damage as well. He's going to shoot us once, but we'll get another one into his hatch there. And then his track gets fixed, and no more free damage for me. But we're going to keep trying to get shots on him. There we go, got a very lucky shot there. And then he returns the favor. And then I derp a shot into the ground. And yeah, as you can see, as long as you play this thing, hold down, and don't expose too much, you should be fine. Centennial is very good at, you know, fighting ridge lines, so I thought I was going to be, you know, dead far earlier than, you know, what it is now. I mean, as you can see, he has no problem pinning me. I mean, he's firing standard rounds. But we're going to go ahead and fix the turret, and we'll finish him off because his hatch is huge. Oh, couldn't quite track him. But yeah, I mean, this is a great medium tank. I'm still learning how to use it because it is a little bit different than other medium tanks. But yeah, as you see, our team is just rolling over the enemy here. We've got plenty of damage. And we just couldn't get one more shot into that guy, which is sad. Yeah, I mean, they've only got 5 tanks remaining, and we still have 14. So yeah, the score is 11-1. Oh, 12-1 now. So they're down to 3. And yeah, now it's time to go in on the enemy Edelweiss. And as you can see, my reticle is, you know, yellow when you get that angle and red at the sides. But tracked him, got a lot of assisted damage there. Was not able to push in as quickly as I wanted to. But this tank is very quick. So, yeah, now we're just going to hunt down these last two guys. One of them being behind the wreck of the snake bite. And I was trying to ram him there for the kill, but didn't quite get it. The Panther 2 shot him. And, of course, an AFK T-29. Because his team got rolled over, he just stopped. So, yeah, anyway, 15-1 victory there. Alright, at the end of that match, we ended up making 129,000 silver. We got 2,600 experience. We got a mastery badge of the 2nd class, high caliber and Confederate. 14 penetrations for almost 3,000 damage. We assisted for just over 2,200 damage, and yeah, we got 2 kills. But anyway, fellow tankers, that's the Edelweiss. You know, in a nutshell, that's how I've played it. We'll go to the team stats here in a second so you guys can see all that. But until next time, fellow tankers, you guys go out there and kill some shit. I hope to see you guys on the battlefield. And don't forget, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, like what you see, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot.